Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's nutty as can be. Sell your soul for what you think it needs. Some call it survival, some call it greed. What's a pound of flesh worth today? Go ahead, sell it or give it away. Maybe I'm stupid or just naive. Seems everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's nutty as can be. Swirling out, start raising mad, grabbing, gouging, slashing the fat. Once it wanted peace and screamed to be free. Now everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's nutty as can be. Everybody's crazy but me. It's crazy but me.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Girl George and the Dragons radio show. Today we have Barry Katzmann, which is a writer, producer, marketing, communications guy with Comedy Day. How are you, Barry?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Tell us about Comedy Day. How did that start?
Oh, that started way back when. I think it was 73 or 74 in the city of San Francisco. There was what they called the zebra murders. There were about 14 people killed over 22 6-month period of time. There were 14 people killed. There were 8 assaults. One of them was mayor-to-be Art Agnos. He wasn't killed, obviously, because he became mayor. But so at that point in time, everybody was afraid to leave their house. And Jose Simone and a couple other people, one being John Cantu and Rebecca Irwin Spencer, and a few other people were talking about how they were going to get people to come out of their house and enjoy comedy and music and other things. And at first, Jose thought they would do something in the daytime. I think it was at the Justin Herman Plaza near Powell Street, and he was going to get Robert Shield. Remember Shields and Yarnell? He was
they were great.
Perform. Yeah. And, so it simmered for a couple of years. So it wasn't really until 1981 that the first Comedy Day came around, and it was at the same time that Bill Graham was doing Comedy on the Green. So they were talking about, the concerts on the Green. I think he was doing them at the Oakland Coliseum. And the Symphony had done, the San Francisco Symphony had Opera in the Park way back then. Barbara Streisand sang in Central Park. So Jose, John, and Rebecca Irwin Spencer and a few other people said, why don't we have an outdoor comedy thing? And that's how it all began. So it started in 1981, and it started at the Golden Gate Park Band Shell. And we just celebrated our 34th annual event in Golden Gate Park on September 14th.
I knew Jose from back when he was a musician, back before he got into comedy. I used to be a topless dancer on Broadway in North Beach back in 66, and he was a saxophone player at the El Cid. I ran the show at the Peppermint Tree down there. So I knew him way before he got into the comedy with the committee. He was with the committee for a while, and then he got into the comedy scene. So he was right
he
before
was
the
one of
comedy
the
scene started.
first Latin rock and roll bands. He was in Sapos, I think they were. And he played bass, I believe. And,
I thought he played saxophone. Didn't he play sax?
Well, I think he... Well, I never knew about the saxophone, so you're absolutely
right.
Well,
that's why I thought maybe I'm mixing him up with Snooky Flowers. Snooky Flowers is a sax player. But I I know he plays
he's
the old
multi-talented, so maybe he jumped on the bass because it was a rock and roll band. But yeah, he was good friends with Santana, and he was just before his passing or right after his passing. I don't remember exactly what, but they got an award from they have the Latin Rock and Roll Hall of Fame every year. I think it's at Bimbo's or something, and he was celebrated. And so the guy was multi-talented, musician.
And the one time
comedian.
I got to play at the Grant Street Fair was his gig. He had his band playing there. He says, "Oh, come play with us, George." So I got to play at the Grant Street Fair. I've been playing North Beach Coffee Gallery since '66, and I ran the Coffee Gallery when I came back from Nashville in about 1973, and that's when the comedy stuff started. Frank Kidder came in, and I booked the first comedy at the Coffee Gallery on the weekends because I was doing the booking for a year, and I gave them their own night where they had their own comedy night at the Coffee Gallery. So this was like about 1973 or 4.
So you were basically there during, at the beginning of the, I think.
Well, I was there before the
second
beginning.
Well,
but I helped
were you out
begin
here
at
in
the Coffee Gallery.
Were you out here in the late 50s, early 60s, or you were still,
No,
still in New York?
No. I didn't get to North Beach till 66.
Okay,
so that was
because
before the hippies, but right at the tail end of the beatnik thing when it was just turning into folk music.
Gotcha. Well, the
and
first
the big
wave
topless
was really
thing was going on Broadway.
Yeah, but the first thing was the Hungry Eye and the Purple Onion, where you had Mort Saul and Len Bruce.
That was before my time, but Enrico was my friend. At Enrico's, we used to all hang out at Enrico's. Enrico used to tell me, "Oh, I wish you were around when we had the Hungry Eye," because Hungry Eye was already over, and I was kind of his pet freak. Enrico's. He'd introduce me to Liberace, would come in there, and Bill Cosby would hang out there, and Professor Irwin Corey used to come in. Professor Irwin Corey just turned 100 years old,
I was wondering if he was still alive. I always loved him. He was great, and Enrico was a really nice guy. We gave him the stand-up comedy.
Enrico's dead.
Right. We gave him the stand-up comedy Legend Award. About 6-7 years ago. It was the same year we gave it to Father Guido Sarducci.
Oh, I love Father Sarducci. He used to play at the Coffee Gallery. Now, I loved him. My favorite ones were Dr. Gonzo and Father Sarducci. Yeah, they were.
It's Dr. Gonzo's birthday today, so let's say happy birthday to John Means. Happy birthday, John, if you're listening in.
Happy birthday, Dr. Gonzo. Well, him I actually met later. I was playing in about 1980. I was playing at a club catty corner across from Enrico's on Broadway, and it was all comedians, and I was the only folk singer there. Me and my guitar player, we sang. And that's where I know Gonzo from. He was one of the comedians there, but he's funny as hell. Funny. And he plays a great guitar.
And Father Guido Sarducci was the first, after Debbie Durst did a little memorial to Robin Williams, memorial to Robin Williams at Comedy Day this year. Father Guido Sarducci came on to do the benediction. And I'm telling you, it was a brilliant segue. He took the audience from tears to cheers. And I've never seen, I was just flabbergasted how, 1 minute everybody's got a tear in their eye, and the next minute he had the audience on its feet. It was just incredible. He's
great.
Master of segues.
Was it happy like Frank Kidder's wake? Because I didn't go to the Comedy Day thing, but I went to Frank Kidder's wake, and that was the funniest thing I was ever had in my life. All the comedians, they were so funny. It just meant it was so happy. I mean, it was like a celebration of life rather than boo-hoo.
Yeah, Jose's was pretty funny too, but Debbie Durst came out and she did a little tribute to Robin. We unfurled a 15-foot banner that was just gorgeous, and And that was a tear came to my eye because I've been working so hard, and the day that it happened, I didn't get to see any coverage till about 9:00 at night because the phone was ringing off the hook. All the media was crawling about, and that's when at Comedy Day that's when I really it hit me. It's like, shit, this guy ain't going to be around anymore. And then Father Guido Sarducci came out and said some wonderful things. The same thing everybody's been saying. He was the nicest guy in the world, and above and beyond everything else, he was just a really pleasant human being, and focused on you. If you were talking to him, he was right with you, and then he just kind of segued into some fun stuff. I don't want to ruin it because, first of all, I couldn't do it justice. But I'm hoping somebody will post some video of it. I'm going to post a video once I get some discs of the actual show. But that might take another couple of months. But and he was only up there for a good 5 minutes. But he everybody was sort of sobbing and very somber, and then he went into a bit about Robin meeting God and what he thinks would transpire, and then he pretty much had without tipping his punchline, he pretty much had everybody on their feet cheering. And from the rest of the day on, it was, several people came out there. I noticed Will Durst and a couple other people, when they came out, the first thing they did was they touched the banner, and then they went over to the microphone. So there was some semblance of remembrance throughout the day. But and I believe I didn't catch Stephen Pearl's but I know he was a very good friend of Robin, and he was still a little bit in shock. And I think he had. I never see the show. I've been going to the show since 1985, and I've never seen it. I do catch a set here and there. I got to catch Dana Gould's set this year, and it was brilliant as usual. But I really didn't see much more of the show. But I do know that everybody said it was one of the best shows ever, right down to Margaret Cho dropping her dropping trow and twerking. So.
Well, I did that back in 1974. Have you seen the poster of me?
No, send pictures.
There's a poster of me.
I want the pictures from the burlesque.
Down, show my tattoo back in 1974 in Nashville. So it's been done. Oh, by the way, in 1983, I went to L.A. and I was looking for, and the first place I found to play was the Improv, the comedy place on Melrose, I think it is in L.A., and I went there, and they had an open mic for comedians, but they would let you sing one song. So I wrote a song for them called Johnny's Got Herpes, and they loved it because everyone had jokes at that time about herpes. And then at about midnight, Robin Williams would come in every week, and they'd just give him the stage, and he would just spin off for about an hour and just rattle off whatever from the top of his head, and nobody minded getting pushed out of the way because they all wanted to see Robin. So that was kind of the highlight of every open mic. Robin would come in and just do his thing. It was just so fun.
Yeah, it's a great loss. It really is.
Oh, is she married to that guy Durst? Is she married to the comedian named Durst?
Debbie Durst, yes, is married to Will. They've been married for, I don't know, 26 years, something like that. And she is an improv artist in her own right. She's been in a lot of different groups. She's touring with the Bad Aunties now. That includes Diane Amos, who was this year's Stand-Up Comedy Legend Award winner. We like to do that every couple of years for a comedian who has some, relationship with the Bay Area or San Francisco in general. We've done Ronnie Shell. We've done Pat Paulson and Monty Paulson. His son is one of our sponsors. They're from Pat Paulson Wines. Remember Pat Paulson Vineyards?
Yeah, I know. I remember them.
Yeah, so we do that every couple of years, and this year was Diane Amos, who's also known as the Pine Saw Lady. Who else have we done? We've done Wavy Gravy. You're familiar with Wavy Gravy.
Oh yeah, I know.
You probably
Wavy
know
Gravy.
him. He was a great guy.
Yes.
And
how about Samuels and Cohen's? Samuels and Cohen's.
Samuels and Cohen's.
You don't remember
I'm
them?
stumped. No.
You don't remember Samuels and Cohen's? They were the greatest act ever. I think Samuel even owned the Holy City Zoo at one time.
Well, see, it's before I was a latecomer. In fact, I'm still known as the youngster in the organization, I guess, because everybody was out here in the mid to late 70s, and I didn't come around until I moved out here in '84. And the way I got involved with Comedy Day was my assignment, because I was working at the San Francisco Chronicle, and they said, "Oh, we just became a sponsor of this thing called Comedy Day. They're going into their 5th year, and it's your assignment to promote the event." So that's how I got my feet wet, and that's how I met everybody, and I pretty much, promoted the event, did all the advertising and that kind of stuff for the Chronicle sponsorship of it, and then I left the Chronicle, but I sort of stayed with the organization.
So you're not a comedian yourself, huh?
No. Not at all. I've produced comedy shows under the guise of Barbary Coast Comedy. We produced, my wife and I produced shows in Berkeley and San Francisco, weekly comedy shows in Berkeley and San Francisco and Oakland and Richmond. So we've been doing that off and on for about 8 years. When we find a good room, we'll go back. We're on hiatus since last April. So we're looking for a nice little room, and we'll go back and produce a weekly comedy showcase. We like to give the up and comers a place to perform. It's although the Bay Area is littered with open mics and showcases, it's booming again. It kind of died in the beginning of the '90s. That's Comedy Day's attendance dropped off because cable killed comedy. With Comedy Central and all these Showtime specials, and I couldn't even get I'd say, "Hey, Greg Proops is at the Punchline. He's the funniest guy in the world. I got to go see him." And my friends would say, "Nah, I can see him free on TV." And it's like, well, no, that's not like going to a club, but cable TV pretty much killed comedy, and even a lot of the comedians in the comedy community. I mean, again, back in the late '70s and throughout the '80s, there was a camaraderie here amongst all the comedians. They all helped each other. And then Robin got hot and went to L.A. and did the Mork and Mindy thing. And coming into the '90s, a lot of comedians were like, "Oh, I'm only doing this for 6 months, and then I'm going to go to L.A. and get a sitcom." So the era of people performing stand-up comedy to hone their act to be the best stand-up comic ever gave way to, I'm only going to do this for 6 months and then I'm going to go get a sitcom. And but it's back again.
I'm only in it for the money,
Yeah, well, that kind of thing, Well, that's how you get discovered, and it's like, they had some, there's some history to that, that if you watch Me TV, which is I think it's a KRON thing, but Danny Thomas had a show, George Burns had a show, Burns and Allen, Jackie Benny had a show. So it's not it's not a new thing that Robin Williams gets a sitcom, because before that there was history to it. But it's back. The comedy community is back stronger than ever. There's more comics now than there's been in many, many years, and there's a showcase or an open mic every night of the week throughout the Bay Area. I'm talking, in fact, the Santa Cruz Comedy Festival, is the first annual Santa Cruz Comedy Festival, is happening the 10th, and some of those shows are free, and so I mean it's big, it's back again, and there's a lot of terrific comedians.
That's great. I'm in Berkeley, and the folk scene is starting up. They always do open mic folk scene. I run open mics and stuff. or play at them if I ain't running one. And that's starting to build up too. A lot of new young kids are playing guitar and coming out and writing songs and stuff. So the whole scene is starting again. So that's real good because that's where all the comradeship is in the open mics. You know.
Right. They've been doing that forever.
It's a gig that you pay at, and it's just your fans. It's everybody can come there and hang out.
Yeah, they've been doing that forever at Freight and Salvage, haven't they? They never died there.
Freight and Salvage isn't really. I won't even play the place because you have to pay something like $10 or something to get in. And you get one song if you're lucky, and it's like once a month. So it's bullshit. It isn't really an open mic like the Starry Plow. It don't cost anything. You sign up, you play 2 or 3 songs, or the Missouri Lounge. I play at the Missouri Lounge now. You sign up, you play 1 or 2 songs, and it's free. Don't charge nothing. They got cheap beer and cheap food, and people hang out there. It's not the same thing as paying $10 at the door, and if you're lucky, you get 1 song. So Freight and Salvage has always been bullshit. Starry Plow's been going for years. I ran that one for like 8.5 years, and it was going before I had it, and it's been going since. And I ran one at Stork Club in Oakland for about 8 years.
See, now the Stork Club in Oakland does free comedy every Wednesday, and I'm getting a little tired of free comedy.
Oh, they got comedy now. Great.
Right, yeah. It's an open mic. It starts at 6:30, and then about 8:30, some Bay Area headliners will come on and perform and try out some new material. But my argument with comedy nowadays is that I can understand on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night or even a Tuesday night you have a free open mic or a showcase, but there's too many free comedy shows, and I think on Saturdays and Sundays and Friday nights they should charge for comedy. I mean,
if they should do is they should have their open mic on Wednesday or Sunday or whenever they have it, and then in between the bands that they book on the weekends, they should book 1 comedy act on Friday, Saturday. The same club that has them for free should book 1 comedy club out of the open mic. Whoever was best at the open mic should play on the weekend on Friday and Saturday at that same club. See, I think that would be fair.
Comedians deserve to get paid. And the only
That's
way
what
to
I mean.
Pay
They should be playing on the weekends. They should play on the weekends in between the bands, or before the bands or something.
I agree, but I mean,
that way
there are
would
clubs
get their
that do comedy on Friday and Saturday nights, and it's still free shows. And I know some of the people who are putting on these free shows, and they're great, people, and I love them. But if they continue to do free shows, then they're never going to get paid. And you should get paid for your work, and I understand needing stage time, which is why I said Wednesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Okay, you do a showcase or an open mic to hone your act, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, you need to get paid, or you're never going to be considered a professional. At some point in time, you got to start charging for your performance. It's work. And you deserve to get paid for it. And I know that when we do a showcase, we try to pay everybody on the bill. You performed, you should get some money. But
at the Coffee Gallery, when I ran it back in '73, I was the first one that actually booked comedy acts on the weekends and paid them on the weekends. I was the first one. So, I mean, there should be 1 comedy act, and then they can have the rest music if they want, if it's a music performance place. If it's a comedy place, they should book somebody out of that open mic. I mean,
the problem today is it goes back to the cable in '90, which killed comedy, and today it's the Internet, where everybody can get stuff for free. And everybody expects stuff for free. So we would have Will Durst. Okay, one night we had Will Durst. We had Shanti Sharan, an up and coming female comedian, and then we had Dave Borey, one of the most popular comedians in the Bay Area. The 3 of them performing for $5, no drink minimum. And we would have people coming up the stairs with $10 drinks in their hands, saying, "Oh, I'm here for the comedy comedy, and we'd say, well, it's $5, and they'd say, oh, I thought it was free, and it's like, no, it's only $5. Well, I'm not paying. And then they'd walk down the stairs with their $10 drink in their hand, and that's because people are used to getting stuff for free, and they don't understand the value of live performance. I mean, you're obviously at some point been a member of the musicians union, and the musicians union used to have.
I don't believe in it myself. Me, I'm a renegade. I don't do those kind of things.
Oh, all right. Well,
I only do renegade.
But they used to have a tagline for the union.
I've had producers. They fuck me over. I just do what I do, and I don't care about money. Money money is for other people.
The union used to have a tagline, and it was "Live music is best." Now it's great to listen to records.
Musicians Union died because it doesn't do anything for anybody that take their money.
But their line, "Live music is best," is true. And there's nothing like a live performance. And nowadays, live performances are, unless you're a superstar, it's tough to draw a crowd that wants to pay.
That way everywhere. It's always been that way. It always was. The stars get all the people, and everyone else says, "Fuck you, I don't want to see you." They don't want to see nothing new. They want to see what they've seen already on TV or something.
Those were the days.
Yes. That's the way it is. That's showbiz. It ain't easy, honey. You got to fight for every inch you get, right?
Yeah. Nothing's easy anymore. That's for sure.
It's never been easy.
Where are you performing next? Oh, you're having a big birthday party.
I play at open mics. That's what I do is open mics. I run them. I play at them. Oh, my big birthday party is coming up.
Yeah.
It's my 70th birthday. October 29th.
Oh, you don't look a day over 69.
Yeah, sure. My pictures are like 25. Because I take them from an angle. If you take them from above, you look much younger. So I make
where's this big bash?
Photographer stand on the table. So it's at the Missouri Lounge in Berkeley, which is where I play every Wednesday at an open mic for free. For free. I gave up on making money years ago. I just play to play with the audience. I like playing with the audience, and I bring everybody up on stage, and they all sing back up and scream and yell, and I have a washtub bass player, and just a bunch of crazy people.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
And that's how I have my kicks. So it's always Wednesday night at the Missouri Lounge in Berkeley, and my birthday party is October 29th. So why don't you come down? I'll make sure you get a slot. Oh, you don't do comedy? Well, you can just watch. But if any comedians want to come down, any comedians that want to come down, it's an open mic for anything. So, if you're a good comedian, come on down, sign up. It's every Wednesday night. It's mostly
I'll spread the word.
It's mostly music, but if you could handle a music crowd, some comedians don't like music crowds. Yeah.
Well, we got a few comedians in the Bay Area that are musical comedians, just like our old pal Dr. Gonzo.
Oh, Dr. Gonzo's one of the best musicians I've ever seen. I mean, he's really fucking good. Okay, this is Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show. Our time is up. Thank you for calling, and you guys come to my birthday party on October 29th at the Missouri Lounge in Berkeley. See you later, alligator. Bye.
China got herpes and I don't know what to do. Thought it was cold and I thought it was blue. Just never get big and have a day. China got a strike and China can't play. Oh, China got herpes. China got herpes. China got herpes. Can't be no more. Johnny got a rocket and he left everything's